Beginning to record, everyone.
All right. After everyone was full, on the Liberians, they said, guys, do not rush. Do not rush. And we all know what happened after that. We were given the OAU instead of straight African Union. Straight away, African unity was compromised because the West formed or funded everyone to stand against Kwame Nkrumah. So, gentlemen, as we think about African Union today, think about, is this gradualism going to work? Who are we going to bed with? Is the African Union the right vehicle to achieve that?
Yes, Comrade Kwame, you can proceed. Let me chat it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Comrade Coco, for your extensive presentation or discussion. So lots of issues have been raised about the Whole African People's Conference, the fact that the CIA is funding interventions, and so on. And Brother Ba, who is not here now, raised the question of whether or not Africa is really free. So let's hear from others. So the topic is the political unification of Africa. So we are initiating the debate. So that's a debate we need to have, that Africa needs to have one continental government and not five. So, Comrade Numi, you have your hand up. Please feel free to speak. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chair. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah. Let me start quickly from a reaction to what Sister Shola said about the need for us to acquire economic freedom before we start thinking of other freedom. She's quite right. That is quite logical. We need economic power to pursue other sectors. But I also want to point out that unfortunately or invariably, we also need other power to be able to acquire economic power. And that is where we, as much as we need a
Numi, we can't hear you. Comrade Numi, you've gone completely silent. Okay, you come back when you are able to come back online. Comrade Eugene, did you want to say something? Please feel free to come in.
Just a minute, I finalize in my statement, then I will be back.
Oh, okay, no worries. Thank you. Russ.
And you know, today I've learned from my stuff.
Can you say something while I wait for Brother Numi to come back? I think it's completely gone off. Russ, thank you.
Yes, my elder, please say it, my elder. Give thanks, family.
Yes.
Can I just listen a bit because electricity went off, so I didn't catch last time I heard the conversation talking about the neo-colonialism. So I don't know what's going on.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Russ. Continue listening. Thank you.
Okay, yes, thank you.
That's all right. Dan Bele, you want to say something? So we are discussing the unification of Africa, the fact that we must be politically united. Thank you.
Of course, you pursue a course you want to plan. You know, there's some kind of projects because now run.
Okay, right. Okay, Comrade Coco, since no one is ready to say the thing yet, please feel free to continue your conversation. I know you have a lot to share with us.
Yes, comrade. We are at the juncture now where Africa has become important once again. And in this case, we have a new rising star from the East, who is China. And we also have seen the events in Ukraine. So Ukraine was another front line where the West meets the East is being fought out. But as you know, Wagner sort of fell out with the Russian machinery there. And after that fallout, you have heard that Prigozhin has told them to go back where? To Africa. To go back to Africa. It beggars belief, as in we are continuing to rely a lot on foreign support. Only if we think the people who are supporting us are really doing us for our own interest. But I do worry a lot. I do worry a lot. I see echoes of what we have seen before. So right now, the Russians are in Burkina Faso. The Russians are in Mali. The Russians are in Central African Republic. But what our brothers did in ECOWAS was to levy sanctions against those guys. So the question would be, why would they? They will do that because, number one, Burkina Faso and Mali is sending signals. They are also not safe. So they are running scared. Number two, their masters in France will have told them, you need to embargo those guys. Otherwise, you will also be sanctioned. You will be punished. So ECOWAS, as it is still very much influenced by France. It's influenced by France. And this was what was happening before. It happened, we had Houphouët-Boigny in Ivory Coast. Houphouët-Boigny had a white wife. Houphouët-Boigny was more French than anyone else. And taking you back to the book, Neo-Colonialism, White Malice, Lumumba was also looking to be Evolué. Evolué assimilated Belgian citizens. Don't forget, civilizing us was one of their main pillars of the colonization agenda. So people like Houphouët-Boigny, people like Ouattara now in Ivory Coast, you see people who have been very, very assimilated into French bourgeois community. So you ask yourself, you say, how is it going to happen? How we ever going to unite? Even if we get the AFCT off the ground, that is the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, we run a risk that most of the governments or the companies that are going to benefit from such a free trade agreement are largely those based abroad. So it's all of these multinationals, again, which are listed out in Nkrumah's Neo-Colonialism book, who are going to benefit more than the Africans. Then there is another comrade who is based in Italy, Mohamed Konaré from Mali, who said something very, very significant. He said, the elites, they want Africa, but without the Africans. So Africa, just now as we are speaking, is a big prison, is a big labor camp for the African. It's harsh that we have Africa as it is. That's why you see the Africans are jumping into the Mediterranean, because they are trying to follow their wealth, which is being extracted from Africa and taken all the way back into Europe. As long as that is happening, it will continue to have humanitarian effects in Africa. We will have this massive illegal immigration into Europe if we don't address it, if we don't create jobs for our own people, if we don't unite and create one Africa, which is strong militarily, strong economically, strong politically, and can stand on its own. The Africa that we have right now, you go to the UN, you find Eritrea is siding with Russia. You find Angola is abstaining. You find Lesotho is siding with the West. When are we ever going to see the unity of African people? And don't forget, we are probably the majority at the UN, and everyone else, they look for our votes. And
so Coco,
yes, brother.
So what should we do? So we recognize the challenges we face, and that's how we initiate this debate. So we are saying that Africa must unite continentally. So there are those who believe that this will never happen, not in 1,000 years. And there are those who believe that it can happen. It can happen, and the reason it can happen is because we live in a dialectical world where there is something called unforeseen consequences. So even those who think that they've planned everything and know what will happen tomorrow, even they are faced with that which is unforeseen. So unforeseen consequences are a part of reality. Brother Coco is are you there, Brother Coco?
I'm here. Apologies.
Okay. The name has changed. Sorry, that's why. Okay. So I think the question I'm asking is, what should we do? What must be done? What must be done? What must be done? What do you think? What must be done? Because Ba Atiku, who is not here now, mentioned the fact that Africa is not free. We're not free. You mentioned economically and so on. Sister Shola, who you mentioned also, who is not here now, also talked about the need for economic freedom. So what is your suggestion? What should we do?
All right. If you allow me, one way.
Let's get some ideas from you.
Yeah. We need to go back to what we failed to do a long time ago, where we failed to take back our agency. We failed to take back our agency in '63 when we decided to keep the colonial era borders. That was a big mistake, and that way it enabled the colonial powers to continue exploiting us. But bringing down those borders and facilitating movement between different African countries will lead to greater economic activity, will lead to greater cultural assimilation within African countries. We talk about things like language. We still have colonial era languages. We still have French. The French, they still align more with the French speakers still align more with the French. With France, they still go to Paris for everything else. We need to start trading amongst ourselves. And that's why it's important to empower us culturally, to sort of prioritize the language issue. We need to, because with these different languages which we have right now, it's like walls. It's like walls. Okay? It's like, well, for me to be able to speak to someone in Abidjan, I need to master French, or he needs to master English. Why don't we take that opportunity to master one African language? I'm not saying, okay, get rid of the colonial era languages immediately, but I think we need our own language, and we need to trade more within the continent than outside the continent. We have already made some steps. For instance, when I went to London the first time from South Africa, I had to go to Ghana, and then from Ghana come back to South Africa and then connect from there, which didn't make any sense. So traveling within Africa is better now. Is better. Some of my colleagues to go to Burkina Faso, they had to come and connect in London. Why? Why? We need to trade more within Africa. We need to, improve the way we do things. I know we have signed the open skies now. Lots and lots of connections are happening within Africa, but we have to have believe in ourselves. We have to follow our own indigenous methods. There's a video shared in the group about one method of agriculture which has been done by us for a long time, where we are sort of saving water by digging those round holes around the fields we go. The World Bank project failed. The World Bank irrigation project failed because they don't know our environment. Okay. Then the other thing is the language. The education. Education we receive. I have my uncle. He didn't go to school. When you go to his house, it's much better than even my own house. Yeah, it's better than any of the other guys I know who have gone to school, because he thinks with his brain. His brain is not indoctrinated. He can think and say, okay, what is the problem and what is the solution? Africans are like that. They sort of are creative. We need to harness that as Africans. We need to know what is best for us. We should not be chasing the letters or the qualifications which the West are offering. We need something which is for Africa.
Yeah, so it seems to me that what you are in effectively talking about is cultural. It's a cultural liberation, where we look to ourselves and our culture in terms of what we need to do. Is that a fair comment?
It is a fair, but the important one is the political will. Political will has to be there. Right now, we don't even have migration within our little communities which we have.
Yeah, when you say political will, can you expand on that?
By political will is being able to say, okay, I need to start looking inwards. I need to start looking into Africa for trade. I should not be looking towards the Commonwealth for all the solutions. I do not go and look in Paris if I'm French speaking for all the solutions. I need to start trading with Lesotho. Lesotho manufactures garments right now. But the garments we are manufacturing, we are selling them to the United States through AGOA. Same thing, the same AGOA which you were trying to deny South Africa. If we take those garments which we are producing, selling to United States, and start selling them to Ghana, start selling them to Kenya, and then buying the cotton in Ivory Coast, that's trade within inter-Africa. Simple as that. We are already trading. Right now, I'm not sure the cotton we are sourcing is strictly from Ivory Coast. It's probably from China, from Taiwan.
Okay, very good. So, but do you think that liberal and conservative governments, which we have on the continent, because the governments on the continent, no government on the continent, as far as I know, is a progressive government. They are all either liberals or conservatives. Do you think they will ever look inward?
That's an important question.
Asking
it means that, yeah. I think I doubt, but you can see people like Ruto.
Okay. So if they will not, yeah. So if you don't think they will look inward, and then that means that even though we are politically independent, which we are, I know you call it a flag and anthem, but even that did not come. It did not come free. we have to shed blood in some cases for it.
Absolutely.
So we have flag and anthem. We are able to vote, and so do you not think that if liberal and conservative governments will not look inward, then we have to start looking at the transformation of our politics? I mean, the coming into office of progressive governments. Do you not think that? Comrade Pigeon's hand is up, so let me invite him in.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Brother Connie, and thank you, Brother Coco. In fact, I really wanted to get the answer of Brother Coco in regards to that last question in regards of progressive politicians coming in. I know you'll give that, but let me say that the fact that you have learned about CIA, how they brought down our former leaders, is there anything we can have a strategy outside that can get us out of this, so that even the leaders you are planning, the progressive leaders, will not be taken away by the same CIAs?
Okay.
Are we doing something about that?
Can I? Yeah, Comrade Pigeon, let me answer that before you ask a different question. Now, this is my personal view, by the way. And my personal view echoes what Kwame Nkrumah said. Kwame Nkrumah said that the secret of life is to have no fear. I think we should accept that for those of us who have mosquitoes in our, I don't know if Kenya has mosquitoes. Do you have mosquitoes in Kenya, Comrade Pigbean? Comrade Pigeon, do you have mosquitoes in Kenya?
I've been bitten by one 1 minute ago.
Okay. Mosquitoes will never disappear. You know, we've done a lot to get rid of mosquitoes, but mosquitoes, you know, more people die from mosquito bites than from car accidents or vehicle accidents continentally. Okay, maybe we can find a way of getting rid of mosquitoes, but mosquitoes are with us. Let us accept that the CIA are like mosquitoes. Their job is to bite you. But what you have to do is to make sure you sleep in the mosquito net. Once you sleep in the mosquito net, the mosquito cannot bite you. So we have to find ways and means of building the nets that will keep out the CIA mosquitoes. You see, so let's be clear. We are not afraid of them. You know, we are not afraid. We need to make it clear to these people that we are not afraid of them. You understand? The worst they can do to you is to what? Is to take your physical life. But they cannot kill the idea anyway. But even with the taking of physical life, even that we're not afraid. You know, and ultimately, if they cannot kill all the people, you see, they cannot kill all the people. They will kill one or two to frighten people, and that's what they do. They are bullies. They are not really brave people, you know. That's why they always work in the shadows. Is the way people who work in the shadows, you see, they are not brave. They are not brave people. They always come in the cover of darkness because they are not strong enough to come face to face and face you. So let's not be afraid. I really want to make this point, stress this point, that we should not be afraid. The CIA are like mosquitoes. They will always be there. You know, the enemies that want our resources, and our resources are like blood for the mosquito. The mosquito needs blood in order. That is the Anopheles mosquito needs blood in order for it to have its babies. Yeah, in order for it to have its eggs and lay eggs and have baby mosquitoes, it needs blood. You see, the imperialist system needs the resources of Africa in order for them to give birth, because without it they will die. So they are like mosquitoes. Yeah. So I only want to
Okay.
stress this point that,
Okay.
that we should not at no point should we begin to have fear of these mosquitoes, that somehow they are so powerful, they are everywhere, and
Okay.
sometimes people give them attributes, or people give them sorry, there's noise in my background, I apologize, it will soon stop. People give them what you might call divine attributes. Divine attributes are attributes like someone who is all powerful. That person is everywhere. That person is all seeing. The person is all knowing. The person is all hearing, and so on. And the CIA even this kind of attribute as if the CIA was God, and that is just to frighten you. It's just to frighten us. They are not all knowing. They are not all seeing. They are not everywhere. And so on and so forth. So I just want to say that we are not afraid of them. And I think when you make
Okay.
up your mind to dedicate if we make our mind to dedicate ourselves to the unification of the continent, let us be clear. Mosquitoes' job is to suck blood, so they will come like vampires. But we should not be afraid of them. The secret of life is to have no fear. And the final point I want to make is that at the end of the day, sorry, let me shut my door. At the end of the day, um, at the end of the day, they cannot kill all the people. And this is where our power lies.
Yeah.
You see, we need to
Okay.
bring the people into the struggle. See, the reason that Ghana got its independence in 1957 was not because of the elites. It wasn't because of them. It was the ordinary then Gold Coast people who said to Nkrumah, lead us and we will follow you. They believed in Nkrumah and they said, look, you lead us and we'll follow you. There was a time when they wanted to arrest him. He entered a house and they went into the house. This is the security people. They went into the house to arrest Nkrumah, and they asked all the women and children to leave and leave only the men. Yeah, all the women left, and then after the women left, they searched for Nkrumah and they could not find Nkrumah. Nkrumah was not in the property that they thought he was. Nkrumah vanished. It wasn't magic. Basically, it was the ordinary women who dressed Nkrumah like a woman. They dressed him like a woman, and he left with the women, and the security people didn't know. The people will protect us. The people, look, once the people know that you are fighting for them, when the people know that you will not steal their money, when the people know that we want to build hospitals for them so that their children will have health, their children will be healthy, when the people know that the state will give their children free education, when the people know this, they will protect us. They will protect their leaders. This is what we need to understand. If we want to do it alone, of course, it will not be successful. But when the people know that you are there for them and they can trust you, what will they not do for you? So that is a secret. Let's bring the people in, the ordinary Kenyan, the ordinary Ghanaian, the ordinary Sierra Leonean, the ordinary Ugandan, the ordinary people, the bent backs, the old lady who will not be suspected of anything, and yet the person is hiding under her cloth. Come on, we can do it, but we need to bring in the people. The people is the key. Look, the people united can never be defeated. That is it. The people united can never be defeated.
Yes.
So the CIA cannot kill all the people. They cannot kill all the
Yes.
people. You understand?
Yes.
In
Yes,
the
Brother
Gold
Kwame.
Coast, in the Gold Coast. So you said something in me. In the Gold Coast, you know what they did? they started poisoning our people. And so what the chief did, the Dagadu of Akpini State, this is my state, by the way. You know what they did? They gave the medicine that they brought, that the white man brought, they gave it to a goat. And the goat died in front of them. That's how they tested it. And they said, these people, we will deal with them. You see, so what I am saying is that, look, the ordinary people are poor, they are suppressed, they don't have money in their pocket, they can't send their children to school. When the children are sick, they can't afford to go to hospitals, because in some cases there are no hospitals anyway. You know, people are going blind, they can't afford eye care. And so there's so many problems. Our people are looking for salvation. And when we, the progressives, make it clear that we are not coming into politics to enrich ourselves, that is not the point. You see, this is the point about Kwame Nkrumah. When Nkrumah passed away, he couldn't point to one house and say, oh, this is Nkrumah's house. This is a house Nkrumah built for himself or for his children. Nkrumah wasn't in office to enrich himself and his family. And Nkrumah was in office to make sure Africa, Ghana and Africa, was united, strong, liberated, and developing. That is the goal. We're not in office to steal money. We're not in office to enrich ourselves. We are in office to sacrifice ourselves for the betterment of our nation in Africa. Once the people believe in you, they will protect us. So there's nothing to fear. The CIA can do nothing. They are nothing. They are nothing when it comes to the people. When they're faced with the people, the wrath of the people of Africa, there's nothing. There's nothing they can do. They can't do anything. Okay. They can't do anything. When the Americans themselves decided that they wanted to liberate themselves from the British, what could the British do? In the end, they granted independence to the Americans. And the king went mad. Literally, when he went mad, King George went literally mad when he lost what was then called the American colonies. That's all he could only go mad. These people will go mad because we will take back what is ours. And there's nothing they can do. And they can't kill us. So let us not be afraid. The secret of life is to have no fear.
Yes, Brother Kwame, I think you've raised a very pertinent question, points. And here is the net. You said that the mosquito and the mosquito net. The mosquito net is the people. If we don't get the people, because the revolution is for the people, not for the few individuals. The revolution is for the people, and the liberation is for the people. And therefore, what we need to do, as you're saying, we need to move this conversation to the people until the mass, as Nkrumah is saying, the mass.
That is it.
So
exactly,
the mass must be conscious. And if the masses can know what they're losing, they can come out and defend their life and everything else. And then you will only be a vanguard. So you only become the vanguard. But the spirit now will be with the masses. So they'll not be able to defeat it, because if you kill one person, it's a mass with the same spirit, you see? But the problem is that the political class, of course, the current liberal or conservative class, has managed to ensure that the revolution is for only their class, but not for the masses. Now we must take the revolution to the masses.
Yes.
Awaken the masses, raise their consciousness, then let them be the mosquito nets for the vanguards. If you kill one person in the masses, the rest are still conscious. But that is what is lacking in Africa, you see. Majority of people are either aware or conscious of this, or who are either liberated. For example, the gospel, they say the preaching of the gospel. One person goes to either St. Whatever in Paris and maybe get converted as a father or a pastor. Then they come to the village to preach to the people so that they can get saved. But what do we do with the Pan-Africanism? You get enlightened as a Pan-African, you stick it to yourself. You go to conferences, you talk louder. So it's like the gospel. We must take it to the people, preach it to the people, convert them, and make them be the followers.
Let me add to what you just said. Let me add. I'm just adding. Please continue, but let me just add. You see what comrade
have we lost Comrade Kwame? Continue, Big Ben, please.
Yes, what I was saying is that look, for example, how the gospel operates.
they're building the churches all over with their money just to preach their gospel. They are coming in schools all over just to preach their gospel. They're even doing airlifting, preaching, cathedral to train the pastors. But what are we doing for Pan-Africanism? Talk it, chat it, and only converse about it. Where are we building our resources? The CIA are investing their money. They come take someone like Tom Mboya, they train him, they educate him, they take Mobutu to Belgium to educate them and train them. But what are we doing with our leaders? We just watch them. They're suffering out there alone. There's nothing you're doing. Then you're complaining in forums, seated somewhere, saying Africa must unite, Africa must unite. How is it going to unite where the people who are colonizing us are investing their resources, their time, their manpower, and everything? It's not possible. So I think it is simple. As the gospel and the preaching is taken to the villages, the message is converted and even translated into our local dialects. The Bible is available in Yoruba, is available in Luo. Where is the doctrine of Pan-Africanism? How can we convert it to the people so that it can reach to the lowest person in the village who can teach it? That's the problem.
Absolutely. So, coupled with that, there is a fact that we were lied to and we were scared. They literally scared us to say, if you sin, you're going to hell. That is what they told us. And we are still sticking to that. They used fear to control us. And we are still scared. We are still running scared. And then they took a few of those who they thought they will continue to be their gatekeepers for their colonial system, and they are the ones who are still in charge. So the next thing we have to do now is we have to show how it works, being a Pan-African. We have to show the fruits of that. I think Sister Shola here said, if people who are hungry, how are you going to tell them about Pan-Africanism? They won't believe you because they are hungry. Someone else comes in and pays them, they'll follow that someone. That is a problem we have. I like what Kwame is saying. The problem is the idea is in only a few heads right now. That's why when Nkrumah was toppled, Lumumba was killed, only a few understood what those guys stood for. Only a few people understood what those guys stood for and had the balls to continue preaching their message. And again, the other leaders were scared. It's the fear again. They are using the fear to control us, using the fear for us to stay where we were before independence. Again, going back to what the words of that Belgian general said, he said, before independence, equal after independence. Nothing has changed. We need to do away with fear. We need to empower, to embrace what is us as Africans. Christianity is not ours, it's theirs. The language we are speaking right now is their language. It's how they are doing to make sure we continue to be their customers. We are being a commercial idea for them. We continue buying British, we continue buying French, we continue buying American. When are we going to start buying African? When are we going to stand up for our own people? Go preach to them and tell them what it was to be an African. What is African pride? And what is wrong with Christianity? What is wrong with Christianity? What is wrong with Islam? How can the same system which was used to enslave or colonize your forefathers, your foremothers, is being used again to redeem you?
Yeah.
How is that going to help you?
Comrade, on the issue of religion, what I would say is that all you're saying is correct. But people's beliefs are things that when you take a frontal attack on people's beliefs, they recoil back. So what I would rather suggest in terms of tactics is let us deal with the economic issue. Let us deal with the economic liberation. let's deal with that, because if we deal with the economics, because that is a problem right now. The problem we are facing right now is if you like, yes, if I'm a Christian, yes, I believe in some kind of Jesus and all that, and that Jesus is white and God is white, and therefore it is a contradiction in terms of my own mental state. How can a white God that loves everybody somehow be looking at Africa being poor, suppressed, oppressed, and this God who is supposed to love us all and who is our Father, how come he's not, or our Father is not doing anything about the fact that Africa is in the state in which it is? So yes, we can argue along those lines, but I think that if we want to move this argument forward, let's not attack religion. Let's start with economics. Let's start with the financial and economic liberation of the continent. Because you see, at the end of the day, the poor hold on to religion because they are poor. If you look at it, the guy hasn't got money to go to the hospital. So when the child is sick, the guy prays, "Oh God, help me. My daughter is sick. I don't have money. Heal my daughter, oh God. God, you are the only one who can do it because you love me so much." That act of prayer in itself is because of poverty. If that guy had money to go to the hospital, he wouldn't need to pray. He would go to the hospital and pay money.
Allow me to
so what I would
interject.
suggest, so what I
Yeah.
said, Coco, is that let us rather focus on the economic liberation and then bring in the religious later. But in terms of moving forward, I would suggest let's focus on the financial and economic liberation. I'm sorry, my system went off because apparently I was shouting CIA. I was shouting too much, and neighbors were watching from their windows. you know, Brother Coco, in England, the old ladies come and stand up and say, "What's going on in that black man's house?" Anyway, so I've gone and put on my headphone and also my speaker so I don't shout. And anyway, so I'm back now. Anyway, so that's my suggestion in terms
You
of
want the
moving forward.
brother Pigbin to come in before I come in on that.
Yeah,
question
and
of
before Brother
religion.
Pigeon comes in, the time is almost getting to 9 now. Yeah, Comrade Pigeon, you coming in? I want to ask you a question about the recording. Was this a recording when I went off? You know, was this a recording when I went off, or did it stop?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
It was a recording, yeah?
Recording.
Excellent.
It was a recording.
Excellent. All right, carry on, comrade.
It transferred automatically to me.
So it transferred the host to you, did it? You said transfer the host to you, is that correct? Comrade, we can't hear you properly. Comrade Pigeon, we can't hear you.
It's struggling. He is struggling.
Yeah, your line is gone inaudible now. We can't hear you. Yeah, Comrade, we can't hear you at all. Comrade Pigeon, I don't know if you can hear me, but we can't hear you at all.
But I think it will be very important.
Now we can hear you better. Yeah.
At least each member here, because we are few, at least to give one.
Yeah, Comrade Pigeon, we can't hear you at all.
Dan Bele has his hand up.
Yeah, I think Comrade Pigeon was saying that given the time, we should give a 1 minute response. Yeah.
I think
is that what you said? Yeah, Brother Pigeon is gone now. Yeah, his line is struggling. I think he was saying that everyone should give a 1 minute response. Dan Bele, your hand is up. Yes. Dan, you can speak. Dan, unmute yourself and speak. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening. Dan, no, because of the time, yeah, just have 1 minute, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity. as we start this revolution of the unification of Africa, as you said, we can't achieve this project with a few individuals. So we have to expand our we have to expand to the mass. So we have to use our native language, native dialects to to expand our vision. So I think this we have it's not only just every day, every week we are having meeting here. I think we have to create other social media as the technology we have now. We have to create this and also to be engage ourselves in the community social like being in tertiary institution. There is different union in the university, college of education. We have started from the education elites. So I think this project, it will be easier to us to achieve the unification of Africa. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yeah, Dan, thank you very much for that suggestion. I've made a note of it. I'll let Brother Pigeon know so we can work with you as well. Thank you very much. Brother Eugene, do you want to say something a minute? Because I know you were preparing your notes. Unmute yourself and make your comment, please.
Hello?
Yes, go on.
Yes,
go on, brother Eugene. Of Weti. Eugene.
Of Weti, yeah.
Weti.
So to add on this topic, I think we should go back and look where the rain started to beat Africa in terms of economy. What I was going through, I find that by the time Africans were getting independence, there were only four leaders who didn't endorse the leadership of the whites. This was Kwame Nkrumah. We have sorry, just a minute. Yeah, we have Kwame Nkrumah, we have Sekou Toure, Julius Nyerere, Ahidjo of Cameroon. The major problem that Africans did was to endorse this the project that whites had before, which took much time and resources, denying other citizens that time and power to build on their own, to create their time for their economy to grow. Unlike they were depending only on the white project. Then maybe what Africans can do, if it is possible, economy freedom, I think it should be constitutionally guaranteed and maybe protected so that citizens can enjoy. Once all the projects are under government, citizens will be depending on the government each and every time. They will be not having their time to for their farm works, maybe to have ideas on what to do in business. They will be waiting for the government to give them ideas and maybe to look for the market, something like that.
Okay, thank you very much for that, comrade. You make some very, very good points there. Thank you so much. Have you finished?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So let's hear from, we are the final minutes of today's meeting, and let's go, Sister Ida, please.
Well, I've heard you all, and I like the bit about the economy, but what I really like is the fact that selling within Africa. rather than it going abroad. And I think, can you all hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, oh good, okay. That I think all those people who are sending to the West and stuff, I mean, like there are lots of, there's still lots of plantations that do things that are just, the market is just for the West. And I find that really insulting. I don't see why all our pineapple or all our dried mangoes should just be for the West. It should be sold, there should be a certain, even if they want to send things to the West, there should be a certain percentage that has to be sold within the country that it's produced in. Rather than it being that people have to steal it via the back door to sell it in that country. And I also think, I like what Kenya has just done, open up the borders. I think all African countries should have their borders open to all their neighbors. You know, if you're an African, you should be able to go from the north to the south, east to the west, without having to have visas, would be my thing. So I'll leave it there for now, but you know, I like those ideas.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, in fact, your points touch on economic liberation, basically. Thank you so much for that. Wonderful ideas. Russ, are you now able to speak or you're still listening? 1 minute only. All you've heard, what would you say? Russ? 1 minute only.
Give thanks, my elder. Give thanks, great one. Yeah, let me just be brief. I just want to add more upon what you said in the terms of economic freedom. So me, as a young man in Africa, I've had the privilege to be part of the Rastafari movement. And you must know the Rastafari movement is a Black liberation movement. So within this movement, we're dealing with socio-economic issues. And now what's happening in South Africa, the government is using now the marijuana, cannabis plant, which was planted by our indigenous African people for more than 2,000 years, and is making it a market for the European Union only in South Africa. That means whatever we produce, we're planting here, must go to EU. So I'll just mention that type of problem we are having here on this side of the Rastafari movement. And then closely on the side of Africa, as the indigenous community, we're having a problem of high taxes in South Africa. Thank you, my elder. Blessed love, family.
Thank you so much for your comment. High taxation, that's a problem. They're not taxing us even for our benefit. They are taxing us for the benefit of others. Thank you, comrade. Right, Brother Renumi, I know you were presenting when you went off, so you may not be able to present today, but I'm sure you'll present for us next week, Saturday. You can do a presentation. If you can just give us 1 minute of presentation, that would be nice. Just 1 minute. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chair. Yeah, sorry for that break. There was a network issue around there. So like I was saying, we need economic freedom, but we need to do more than that, because before we can achieve economy, like has been pointed out by various speakers, even the language we're using now is a language of some other people's economy. This language is being tied to, these and many other imperialistic language have been tied to other economy. We also need to create our own economy and code it in our own way, both in our culture and in our language. And like I think Brother Coco or somebody rightly said, some of the things we also need to start doing some things covertly. All our discussion should not be on the social media, because we need to start working on the background, doing some things that we know what we are doing among ourselves. So that, okay, so, all right, so that it will be an open discussion for everybody to pick from, so that our distractors will not use those facts against us. So, and
sorry.
Those are areas I want to come in now.
What I'd like to do, Brother Renumi, I know you have a lot to say, but you didn't have the chance because of your but if you come next week, we'll give you the chance to share everything with us. Yeah.
All right.
In terms of the language, we can have a strategy. But you see, I keep saying that the progressives have to come into political office. Otherwise, we won't be able to implement our ideas. So if you take the language issue, for instance, we can start with the current African languages. You know, the many thousands of languages spoken in Africa. You will find that there are, if you take even just Nigeria, you will find that there is a Nigerian who can speak Igbo, can speak Yoruba, can speak Hausa, can speak this, can speak that, can speak a lot of the languages. These can be our interpreters to start with. You see, before we move to one continental language, there are always Africans who can speak different languages. So we can employ these people as interpreters, like you were saying, to code our things, for us to be able to communicate, for us to sell amongst ourselves. We have Africans who can speak more than their own language. I can speak my mother tongue, my mother's language. I can speak Ga, which is not my language. I can speak Twi, which is not my language. I can understand some, but I can't speak them. So all of us Africans, you find we can speak more than one language, apart from the English and the French. We can speak our own indigenous languages. So we can have a strategy where we start with that, then start trading with these people as our interpreters before we move gradually to one continental language. So it's a strategy. So thank you very much. I hope you present for us, brother. I know you're also investigating the cultural aspect of things. You're going to present for us on culture much later. So thank you very much. So everyone has now spoken. So I'll let Brother Pigeon give us his final comments and then end the meeting also. Thank you. Brother Pigeon, we can't hear you again. I don't know what's happening to your. Sorry, Comrade Pigeon, we can't hear you. Your sound is not coming. Maybe it's your internet connection. So we can't hear you at all. Unless we can't hear you, that's okay. We can't hear you at all, no. The sound is so blurred, we can't hear anything. All right. So thank you very much. So, comrades, we can hear you, comrade, but it's so blurred that we can't. We can't understand what you're saying. So, I'll just bring the meeting to a. Yeah, comrade, we can't. Sorry, we can hear you, but we don't understand what you're saying. So, comrades, brothers and sisters, thank you all for coming. It's been, I think, a nice discussion. I would say that the themes today have been CIA, the need for us not to be fearful. Okay. And now we can hear you. Now we can hear you better. And the third, we can hear you now, comrade. And the third point was the question of economic liberation and trade. So that is it. Thank you all for coming. Have a nice weekend, and we'll see you on Thursday when we discuss philosophy and ideology, and based on Nkrumah's book, Conscientism. Thank you, comrades. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Yes, brother Eugene, I've seen your message. Yes, you won't. It's every Thursday and every Saturday, and you won't miss any. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone.